My name is Arnie Kander. I'm the Vice President of Performance and Wellness for the Orlando Magic professional basketball team. I've been doing it a long time. I've been doing it since the late 80s. I actually started in pro sports. Basketball is my thing. With the Pistons for a long run, actually then was with Minnesota Timberwolves for a year, decided to retire and move up to the mountains. And then I was drawn back to, as consulting for several years, but then back with the Orlando Magic for my third season. I'm a physical therapist. I'm actually trained as a classical dancer, which led me to kind of learn about the body in a different way. So I started understanding that and then realized there were limits in regards to what I was able to do with that. Didn't have the science behind it. So went in with that understanding of movement into the world of physical therapy and was able to connect that aspect back again to the arts. And to me, professional sports is that. It's moving arts. You know, it was so long ago, it's hard to remember, actually. I think it was the recommendation of another colleague, and they said you should try the Marc Pro, and I gave it a shot. And again, you're looking for change. And so after using it for a few episodes with athletes, saw it right away. Saw changes, saw them walking with less soreness. The key the next day, coming in saying, wow, that was amazing. I feel great. I'm ready for this next workout. And what's really interesting about that is the mental change, right? An athlete who's sore, we never look at the cognitive side of how that impacts mood, how that impacts how they feel the next day, their ability to want to train. And then coaches are extremely happy when a player comes back the next day and they can get more out of them in that next workout, which the Marc Pro does. There's nothing like it. I mean, if you look at the ability to recover from a muscle standpoint, muscle soreness it's common. It's the nature of the business. So for athletes to be able to have something that can actually feel change, that's probably the biggest thing with an athlete, right? They want to know something is there. When you take it off after 20 minutes and they move around and the athlete smiles, right? And they're like, whoa, there's a difference with what's occurring here. So when you have buy-in right away and an athlete starts requesting a Marc Pro, saying, I need this, it's part of my recovery, it's part of my muscles are sore from this workout. And as we know, to optimize, you have to then recover immediately from that workout for the next workout. That's the only way you promote change. It's the root of everything. When you think about muscle affects tendon, tendon now affects bone, muscle affects bone. So when muscles are depleted, muscles are sore, comes back to movement. Movement's the kind of the foundation of everything. If you're not moving efficiently, injury risk goes up, performance usually goes down. So when we can get muscles primed for whether it's a game, whether it's for a practice, whether it's for a weightlifting session, even for sleep, I think it's a part of it that people really don't look at. When you are sore and beat up, one of the biggest things we hear from athletes is sleep. They really struggle with sleep. So I've found, this is my own personal thing that I found, is after using Marc Pro, after a long flight, most players will say, I had a great night of sleep. So again, one of those things most wouldn't use it for, but I think the Marc Pro is amazing. Difference maker. I would say it's something you should try. The greatest thing to say, there's nothing here to hurt you, it's only something to help you. And so again, when there's something you could put on, call it like a mechanical pump, you know, it's pumping lymphatic fluids, it's opening up these channels to allow your body to feel better quickly. And in our world of pro sports, we don't have days, you know, we literally have a day to get ready for another day, and then we travel, and all the things that we face in an 82-game schedule and plus in playoffs, and hopefully lots of playoffs to get to the NBA Finals. All of those is you have to have your little advantages, and the Marc Pro is definitely one of those. So one of the things we're attempting to do is decrease basically their ability to not be impacted by not moving well. So when somebody's super sore from an activity, you'll see a change in their movement profile, the way their body is actually moving in space. So by doing that alone, you're going to reap the benefit of efficiency in movement, confidence, trust. It raises it to the top. Absolutely. So we measure every metric. We look at everything from a chip in the back of the pants that measures how fast, how many accelerations, how many jumps, to force plate data, to various strength testing things, to movement assessments. After using Marc Pro, you'll see change in all those metrics. So running faster, stopping quicker, getting more accels, more DXLs. When things hurt, you don't want to run fast, you don't want to stop fast, you don't want to accelerate fast. We'll find when you're using the Marc Pro, all those metrics are enhanced. Been in the playoffs several times, and players, again, have done incredibly well using the Marc Pro the night before. Now, it wasn't the first time they used it. They used it the entire year. But having those advantages, right? Seeing a player come back after, let's say you had a double overtime win or a loss, and then you have one day off and you have to be at your A game that next day. To see a player come back and rise to the occasion multiple times, I've seen that with the Marc Pro. A lot of them are familiar, because I would say most teams in the NBA, I'm pretty sure, are using the Marc Pro. If not, they should. It's because there's a mechanical action, you're feeling what it's doing, and there's an immediate change. And there's not many modalities that when you use them, you'll see a change instantaneously. They'll get off and say, wow, whether it's a shoulder, a knee, a hip, it's on the spot change. So constantly receiving feedback, noticing as they get up, a little less soreness, feeling more mobile. That's probably the big word we often hear. So I feel a little more mobile in what I'm doing here. I just feel like my body is moving in a much more efficient manner. When I came to the Orlando Magic, I said, make sure we have a lot of Marc Pros. It's very, very important. I've seen it for many, many years. I've had great success with it. I don't veer away from success. When I know something works, I continue to stay with it. So I am continuing to support Marc Pro. We have a lot. I know we have a lot. Everywhere I look, I see a Marc Pro, which is very important. I'm guessing probably 6 or 7. We travel with as many as we need to accomplish what we need. So if we're dealing with a couple guys that are sorer and we know it's going to be a tough game coming up, we basically bring more with us. To me, it's such a simple thing. They're small, they're easy. We don't have to plug it into a wall. It's not limited by a cord. It's not limited by anything. No limits on it, easy to use, transportable. Why not? You know, simple and easy. I think the things I would add about Marc Pro is you have to have things that are accessible to you. Whether other teams have them or not, doesn't matter. I've seen every modality. I think I've seen everything that's out there. I would put that as my top modality I've used for a long, long time.